Hey everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Squared Slice. I'm none other than your friendly neighborhood soda, joined as always by my partner in crime, Nitro Mundo Morrison, Survivor Elite, whatever he wants to be this week. Dustin, how you doing?
Splendid. How are you doing, Soda?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. This is going to be a fun topic today, but before we get into that, let's introduce our guest, returning once again, because we all had a great time talking last month, none other than Ryan Cruz. How you doing, my man?
I am doing very well, boys. Good to see you guys again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How's everything in your neck of the woods? How's the indie wrestling world going?
Indie wrestling world is kind of starting to pick up that summer swing a little bit, starting to see more of those like brewery shows coming out and kind of some of the more outdoor aspects of things. But, wrestling is still kind of a little hotbed right now. People are still wanting to be entertained, so shows are turning out decent attendance right now. So it's pretty sweet.
Right on.
Yeah, so it's been a good return since COVID for wrestling overall in the small scene.
I would say yeah. The shows, you expect you come back the first couple and you expect, a smattering of people to maybe return. You don't know how people are feeling about being in crowds and things like that. But from the get-go, people have just been coming out. They're itching to get outside and do something.
Right on.
Well, that's good.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's good. I was afraid of how wrestling was going to come back from all
Yeah,
that,
totally.
especially at the indie level.
Indie
Yeah.
scale as well.
And it really
Yeah,
does
I mean,
seem. I'm sorry, go.
No, I was saying a lot of shows are being careful about things and still trying to institute some type of COVID protocol, things like that. Some don't even care, just throw hands up and just say, it's like 2020 to 2022 never really happened.
Right.
So there's different flavors for different folks. So if being super safe around things is still your thing, there's shows that are doing that. And if that is not a concern of yours, there's shows that are just free willy-nilly to be however you want to be. But the best part about it is that none of that kind of outside political nonsense of mask versus no mask and all that jazz. That's really not been present that I've seen in wrestling. So that's been really nice that the politics have stayed only in the locker room.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, the best place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no politics in wrestling.
None whatsoever.
So okay. We have to say one thing before Soda interrupts me and actually gets onto the topic of this show. But we have you here, and I'm sure you know, and that's probably the only important thing of wrestling this week is the whole Sasha Banks walking out on Vince.
Yeah.
Just because you brought up the politics, I mean, it's just that's interesting, right?
So if I have this correct, they didn't. I don't even really recall what the thing they weren't happy with, but from my understanding,
it seems like the treatment of the tag scene is like the treatment of the women's tag teams.
Yeah,
okay,
because the booking was they were gonna, if rumor serves, depending on how you believe it, that they were gonna both be booked to like have big matches, and they were both gonna lose them at like Hell in the Cell. And so like, I don't know, they were still in really good spots, but they were in spots separately and not.
And
for the
rumor
tag
has it
titles.
also potentially planting the seeds for a split, even though they're like doing really great right now and they're trying to do some of the tag titles. I also heard that.
Yeah, and from what I read, that there's something at Raw that they had changed. They actually had a meeting with Vince about it. Went well, but it upset a number of the producers, and so then it was switched back, and then that was what the cause that ultimately made them walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the big
From
issue
my
is
understanding.
yeah, that's I think where it is right now. But the other issue is that Sasha's had these issues with WWE a couple times, so that's been kind of like give it 48 hours. I saw a report today that it got picked up by a couple of the sites that I actually kind of follow well, and they were saying everybody's like, thinks Sasha. They were all like, whatever.
Yeah,
she has heat backstage now. Yeah. And everybody thinks Naomi just made a rash decision that maybe she didn't think about through enough.
That's kind of what I was wondering there is like Sasha's got the equity to make a move like this and still be okay. Naomi's, I mean, if she's got the bloodline to help her out.
That helps. That's the big help for Naomi. Because that was my first thought when I saw this, when I texted someone and I went, Naomi's so stupid. Don't follow her. Like, let Sasha be mad and do it. Don't follow her.
What do you guys make of the statement that WWE released about it on Instagram?
That was interesting, especially when they pretty much like whatever little segment, a little bit of kayfabe was left is completely out the fucking window now.
Yeah, because like I remember back to when Austin took his ball and went home. You know, Vince came out and kind of shot like that. But nothing in a weird release like this before that I can think of.
Well, and the fact that Corey said it twice on Raw. And everybody got on Corey. They were like yelling at him. It's like he just did his job.
Yeah, he was probably
like Corey didn't create these lines. Somebody told him to say it on air.
Right.
So Vince was, I mean, he must have been pissed.
Probably.
But again, you know, this is the one thing, and I'm sure both of you.
He's rewriting his shows anyway, so that part shouldn't fucking matter.
Truly, I mean, you know, people should understand the chaos of the WWE sometimes. Especially two people that have been there that long. Like,
sure,
just let it go and move on. You guys are in good spots. You're on TV every week. But the one thought I have is Warrior walked out, Austin walked out, Brock walked out. Punk walked out. WWE Hogan walks out. Bret
famously,
has the taking the belt kind of wanting to walk out.
HBK did in '97.
WWE will
Alundra
survive.
Blaze.
Yeah. These people, all these bigger names than Sasha Banks and Naomi. Like, I just don't understand the mentality of like what you think you're going to gain. Like, WWE is going to move on and they aren't going to care that you're not on the ship.
Which is unfortunate because I do actually sympathize for if it is indeed the reason why, I do understand why they did it.
Go do your job.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. You can get mad later, but leaving before you're supposed to be advertised in the main event's probably not the way to go.
Oh no! 100%.
But yeah, I mean, they were advertised. That was the match that was advertised last week.
Yeah, and they even opened the show talking about it, and then whoops.
Yeah.
Huh.
To bounce like Matt Hardy or Tony Storm on a house show, or Jeff Hardy, I mean, is one thing. But but so far, I think there are early reports they're suspended till July or something like that. I think I read that.
But what's funny is this is the 20th anniversary when Austin did it.
Was it 2002 he did that?
2002, yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll see. It should be interesting to follow.
Yes.
I mean, again, I keep saying that. I don't know if the grass is always greener, but who knows? Yeah. All right. So to interrupt me and.
All right. So our topic for today is we're going to do a tier ranking list, but we're going to be doing finishing maneuvers. So yeah, there is going to be one that there's two, that are kind of the same, but because of newsflash, 5-star frog splash and the frog splash, they're both on.
Oh yeah,
that's the only one where you could say is like a duplicate, but everything else, basically I would split it up, or say for example Edge and Roman Reigns, I took different moves associated with one of them to avoid. Yeah,
sure,
that works. I get it.
All right, so here is the list. So let's kick it off. This is going to be in alphabetical order, so it is starting off with RVD's 5-star frog splash.
So I'm a fan. I don't know, man. I'm a huge fan of RVD's 5-star.
Yep.
The height, even though now you watch Street Profit. Montez Ford, couldn't think of his name. Do it, and it's just a better version of RVD's.
Yeah, pretty much.
5-star at this
100%.
point. 'Cause the height he gets is unreal.
The original.
It's so good because it felt so impactful. That's what I always loved about it, and I love the way RVD sold it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he got
and like the recoil of his body, like his whole body would like come back up. And then that classic ECW ring, it just seemed like a trampoline, you know.
I loved that ECW ring too.
Yeah, it just sounded amazing. Well, and they always made such a big deal too when RVD would do like a quarter turn or something with it and still get the massive height. Like it was just always such a big deal that he would cross half the ring to do it.
Yeah, I like it. I would, if we're doing.
So these are the categories that I forgot to introduce.
Yeah, thank you.
Granddaddy of them all at the top, slobber knocker, mid. What's up with that? And who booked this shit?
Yeah.
Nice.
I like it.
So where would we put RVD's 5-star frog splash?
I think I would throw it up in the granddaddy of them all. It's a mecha maneuver. The way he jumps up to the top rope for it too, like I emulate that. I've done it my entire wrestling career. I jumped to the top rope the exact same way.
Nice.
I've used the 5-star or tried to emulate it a couple of times before. I don't get nearly the height, but this is totally a top tier move for me.
Yeah, same here. Every time he hits it, it's still memorable. Even for 20, 30 years later, it's still one of those finishers that will pop you out of your seat if he hits it.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's quite possibly the best top rope finisher out there.
It's one of them, but not
one of them.
List.
All right. I like it. Yeah, I agree. I think that's the top one, just because I think that adds to it is the fact that it's a top rope finisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So next up is a finisher that has different endings, but that has this one thing in common. It is the 619.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the 619? I personally think it's mid at best.
Yeah, I would agree. I was trying to think of a nice way to put like it's a cool move, but as a finisher, it is so weak.
Yeah. Especially if it's followed by like his lazy splash. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Like really the only time truly impressive was when he would hit the West Coast pop out of it.
Exactly. 100%.
Exactly.
So as a finisher on its own, yeah, mid to what's up with that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's mid because at least the one nice thing about it is if done in, he does it all the time, right? As in all finishers. But when it's done in like the right spot, maybe we forget about it because Ray's been around forever and Ray's just not at the level he used to be. But God, when he would do the drop, it was almost not even the 619. It was him positioning people.
Yeah, the drop
to it. That was what made people pop, knowing that it was like it was his finisher was coming up.
Well, and I love how he would hit the bottom rope too. I always think that's so cool.
Yeah,
or the middle rope rather.
Yeah.
But also, I guess one thing that could be said for it and to keep it in that mid status is it's one of those moves that anyone can take, and he can give it. He can give it to anyone, and it's a believable thing. As getting kicked in the face by 2 feet would probably suck, regardless of the size of the person. Yeah, and knee braces, with all that extra steroid meat he has on him. So
what are you talking about? He's bigger than he's ever been right now. He's total natural. Yeah, mid's good. I think it's good. Mid's good, and for the cool factor, it is cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it does have like 4 different ways they could actually end. So
yeah, we'll take it.
Okay, so next up is a finisher that has been done by that multiple people have had throughout the years, but I went with the ankle lock as done by Kurt Angle.
Right.
His is the best ankle lock because of the intensity he puts behind it. He was the first to do the grapevine. It was believable that he would snap your ankle. I still remember when he did it to Scotty 2 Hottie in 2001. I believed he snapped his ankle. For me, this is a granddaddy of them all. Because of everything, of all the polish and the shine that goes into making it a believably dangerous maneuver, especially by Kurt Angle.
I agree with you on the intensity part. That was what sold it. Is Angle made it seem like he was ripping your ankle off, which was cool.
Yeah.
My only thought is when I'd put it like high up to, I'd have it at slobber knocker level because I'm thinking of other submission finishers that I think are better than the ankle lock. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. And when if I want to get it is great. And I think he got really clever with like some of the roll throughs and stuff like that. But if we're thinking about it in terms of finisher, I feel like Kurt Angle used the angle slam a lot more as his finisher.
Really? For me, it felt like it was the other way around.
Yeah.
I think but didn't it feel like he was angle slamming a lot in the first half of the run?
That was his finisher for the first year or two.
I was going to say, because it did feel like he was. I mean, I guess I do associate Kurt Angle with the ankle lock, but maybe that's also because that was when it was him and Guerrero and Benoit, and they were so technical. So
started using it in the program with Benoit in 01.
Okay.
Because they were going into the ultimate submission match.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would not argue against either Granddaddy of them all or Slobber Knocker. I think arguments for both are valid.
Sure.
But what does your gut tell you?
Oof.
You're the tiebreaker.
God, in thinking of the more I think about it, he was very angle slam heavy in the beginning and then got real clever with the ankle lock. Yeah, we're going to have to go Granddaddy of them all. It's kind of one of those ones that in a big match, when someone gets the tap on that, the crowd does kind of lose their shit.
And think about the legends he's tapped out with that. Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, all the big names he's tapped out with it.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of John Cena, next up we have the Attitude Adjustment, formerly known as the FU.
I mean, it's better because it's Cena. That's why.
Yeah.
The move itself is just a basic.
Yeah.
Mediocre finisher. I mean, let's be honest.
What brings it down for me is how diluted it's felt over the last, I don't know how many years, because it seems everybody kicks out of it. It doesn't feel like a finish anymore.
Right.
Well, yeah, to the point where he's had to do the roll through to do 2 right in a row to beat a guy with it.
I'm not gonna lie to you, but that is cool. I love the roll through.
That's very cool.
The top rope one, it's pretty cool. It's just now, what was an exciting move just kind of just feels like,
it does feel a little lackluster at this point.
Yeah,
and I mean it kind of always did.
Right. Yeah, I think the main reason I think it got over though is because he was able to do it to guys like Big Show and Mark Henry and stuff. Like the feat of strength shit really got it over, and then to actually make it believable, he had to start doing the roll through business, which again, very cool.
And he's tried to do it to 2 people at once before. WrestleMania 25 comes to mind with Edge Show,
which was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, and the thought of, and let's be honest, and this isn't his fault, but when it was called the FU, that was awesome.
It was,
Because then they changed it to the Attitude Adjustment, which is a terrible name.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't matter, but it does matter with that move because it's Cena.
Yeah.
So I'd put it in the mid. I'd put it mid if I was me.
Yeah.
It's right there, and it only is probably mid because it's Cena.
Well, here's how I look at it. If we were looking at it in the days of the FU, it would probably be a slobber knocker, but because it's been so diluted, it's mid for me.
Agreed.
As well.
That's a very good point.
Okay, so next up, we also have from that same graduating class from OVW, we have the Batista Bomb.
Yeah.
Oof. This thing is brutal.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? He doesn't lay people down nicely. Instead, he just slams them through the mat.
I tell you, I don't know if I would trust him to do this to me.
Yeah.
and I'm super tiny. It never seems like he's putting guys down in a very bump friendly way.
Yeah.
But
I put it low because it's just a variation on a basic move.
Yeah.
There's other powerbomb style. I don't know if they're on here. There's other powerbomb style moves that I like better.
One more.
Okay. Because and who knows, maybe this is one of them coming up, but I loved Kevin Nash's jackknife. I liked how gritty it looked and how he just kind of threw the guy. And then of course I love the last ride, which just that extra push made it completely different. So I don't know. To me, it's just a power bomb done by a big dude.
Yeah.
And then the fact that he kind of like sits down with it, but it makes it just look like he's off balance and kind of rolling backwards.
Yes.
Kind
of. It just doesn't look. Yeah, it doesn't look like an athletic maneuver, like a solid, strong finisher.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I think it's what's up with that territory.
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Because it is still a big dude doing a power move, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah. The one he did to Edge was pretty sweet, but before Punk came out and cashed in, that was a solid power.
Oh yeah, he has one too that always sticks out in my head. It was from it was one of the Royal Rumbles. Him and Kennedy had a match, and he did it to Kennedy on like a chair, and man, he busted the back of Kennedy's head open so hard, and it was pretty awesome. That was a good one.
Could have happened to a nicer guy. All right.
Okay.
So next,
we'll go. What's up with that on that one?
Okay. I agree 100%. What's up with that? So next up, we have another move that has been made famous by a lot of people, but this one I think was probably the best person to do it, and that is Kane's choke slam. Because some of the people he would choke slam got some major height on that.
Yeah. But again, maybe that's going to be my mentality on this, is just the basicness of the choke slam. I don't know. And I think of Kane now in the last 10 years and how brutal it's been. My God.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, you need the right person to make it look impressive. How did my leg do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it was just a move set because of when he started as Undertaker's brother.
Yeah.
He was just doing Taker's move set.
Yeah, exactly.
So, not interesting to me.
No, like there were certain points during the Attitude Era where he would like really put some emphasis into it and like really like almost like hold the guy up there for a hot tick before bringing him down. Well, that was when it was like
Lesnar's here.
What's that?
Like Lesnar.
Yeah.
Lesnar got
like he's
for a big dude.
That was
Lesnar like oversold the crap out of that, but like that and previous was just like chokeslam mecca. Like I would put that mid to slobber knocker at that time, but
me too.
Again, I feel this one's kind of watered down, so I would put it right next to the Batista bomb probably.
I agree, because mostly for the watered down, like there are some people who just can't take a chokeslam.
No,
that is the issue, and add Kane being older too. I almost think the chokeslam to me, there's certain moves that I'm almost just over, and if I ran a wrestling company, I might tell everyone, don't do a chokeslam, just stop.
Leave it off put it on the do not use list.
Yeah,
there's very few people who make me pop using the chokeslam nowadays.
Yeah. Have you guys seen what Glenn Jacobs is looking like right now though?
Yeah, he's in good shape.
He is ripped right now. Like he looks better than half the time he did as Kane.
I know. No soda. No more run.
I was kidding. I don't want that either.
No more run. Yeah, we'll put it next to Batista.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. Even though that picture of him choking Lesnar does look pretty cool.
It is a good one.
Hi. Okay, so next up we have the finisher that Chris Jericho introduced when he returned to the WWE, the Codebreaker. I like it. It is a move.
I'm a fan.
Out of nowhere.
I like it too.
Yeah.
It was definitely a move that when he come back with it, I thought it was clever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the very diamond cuttery feeling of it, of the fact that you can kind of just hit it.
Yeah.
Which is always fun.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of this move.
Me too.
When he started doing it.
Yeah, when I saw him do it or a couple times on like AEW and stuff, like I popped for this move. I've stolen this move. I've used this move plenty of times. I kind of like the drive-by aspect of it, the RKO out of nowhere aspect of it.
Yeah.
This is a fun move. I like it a lot.
It is, and it is fun too. Like I know that's weird to say, but me and Soda always talk about wrestling needs to be fun, and it's a fun finisher.
Yeah. It is, but it's also nowadays is not his main finisher. It's a move he does still hit, but now
Yeah. I mean, it's better than the Judas effect, which is dumb.
True.
Which is a dumb move.
So where would you guys put the Codebreaker?
I mean, I like it. I wouldn't say it's a granddaddy at all.
I think it's
a solid slobber knocker, kind of a fun move that's kind of forgotten in the move sets.
Right.
I agree. Yep.
And nobody else does it. It's pretty synonymous with Jericho.
But it's not the one he's all synonymous for, though.
For right.
Right. That would be the walls of Jericho, I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So
I like it, though. It's fun.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a finisher that was banned for a few years, but has made its return. It is
the curb stomp. Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting one because it's another one you can hit on anybody. But if you have the right opponent, you can do some magic with it, as we saw at WrestleMania 31.
Right.
That thing was magic. That literally made me jump out of my seat when I watched that.
It still does, man, after all these years.
It's still great.
Just
still
perfect.
It is.
And Orton's reaction, too, where he goes so crazy he forgets to cover him.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he knew.
Oh, yeah.
He knew. You know, the other thing I like about this move, too, is that he doesn't do it a lot. Even when it was his move, he still wasn't hitting it every match.
No.
Because it was supposed to be devastating. You curb stomp someone. You
brought it out when you needed it.
Exactly.
Yeah, he goes for the pedigree a fair amount still, and I love that as a finisher for him still. So, mixing it up between the two is awesome.
It is. And it's like he uses it on the guys that are maybe harder to beat, which makes it feel even better. I need you to do this.
2 weeks ago, last week, he did it to Cody on the announce table. It felt.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Cody's sell of that was so good.
Oh, yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, I agree.
It is.
So where do we put the curb stomp? It's a great one.
I'd say I'd put it next to. Yeah, I'm in there too. Slobberknocker works for me.
Yep, I agree.
Okay. All right, now we're on to our first golden era of WWF finisher. This is a move that nowadays it's used on almost every match, but nothing will ever beat the original Jake the Snake Roberts DDT. That's an all-timer.
That's a good one. It is. The way Jake hits it's better than everyone.
Gear.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
He's got the set up. You know what's coming when he does this.
Yeah, the way he hits it, it's still not replicated, right?
No.
He just hits it so just the way. And I don't know, Ryan, maybe you can speak on it, but I'm assuming the DDT's been a little changed because Jake was just drilling people.
There's
straight into the ground.
There's a certain way to take it. There's a couple of different ways. You see, Bubba Ray Dudley, he'll just kind of go flat as a board and just kind of take it straight on his face.
Yeah,
everyone. That one is a really good sell. It's the one that makes the most sense. But everyone likes to do the big RVD spike,
the spike
and flip over. Yeah, the spike is super popular, but
which looks fun, but it's overused.
It's 100% overused, but it's really just about the guy who's performing the DDT, just really letting the guy who's taking it take his own bump. You're driving a guy's head into the ground. You don't really want to actually do that.
And Jake Roberts literally did do that on accident to Ricky Steamboat.
Yep.
And honestly, and if you watch some of the Jake's DDTs, he's kind of doing it in all of them. He has these guys by the frickin' melon.
Yep.
And he's just dropping you.
Yeah, there's a certain aggressive snap to it that no one else really has.
Yeah, but apparently it was still one of the safest moves you could ever take.
Huh.
Yeah, interesting.
Well.
But I just think it's
Pritchard
pretty
said
iconic.
the advice he was given was just relax. He'll take it from there.
Yeah.
Huh.
That makes sense.
But
that's better than the knee lift he used to use.
Right?
Oh yeah, when it was just the knee lift. That's right.
And
I will admit his knee lifts look sweet though.
And the beauty, this is the move he invented, and had the story of how he invented it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Front headlock.
I like
it. This has to be in the granddaddy of them all.
I don't know. I put Slobberknocker.
I would say Slobberknocker only because of just how massively watered down the DDT in general is. There's 37 different versions of a DDT now.
Right.
Yeah.
So how about the top of Slobberknocker then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That works. I'd put it above the other two that are there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, I think might be our first who booked this shit. Dirty Deeds.
Oh yeah, I don't like Dirty Deeds.
I
Again,
like
it's just a DDT variation.
Yeah, I missed the old. I liked his original version of it. The Bulldog Spike or whatever it was.
Yeah. But in the Dirty Deeds is just Mick Foley's sweet shin. Mick Foley's DDT used to do when he was Cactus Jack. It's the same move.
With a little bit more snap in it, and sometimes he does get the elevation on certain wrestlers, but it's not. I'm not a fan of it as a finisher.
Yeah,
me either.
And just the way every wrestler kind of tries to protect themselves on it, like always throwing down a knee. I get like you're still driving their head into the mat. That's the illusion of the move. Yeah. But it just doesn't look crisp and clean like other finishers do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like it. I think it's a bad finisher.
Okay, this is another one in the same vein of the DDT. It's from the Golden Era. Everybody fucking does it. But in my opinion, nobody did it better. The Macho Man Randy Savage's elbow drop.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it's still iconic. It's great.
Yeah. It absolutely is. Often imitated, never duplicated.
I imitated it on my trampoline jumping off a horse trailer.
Absolutely. Got to. Yeah. Got to. Every pro wrestler I have ever known or met has done this in some variation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's...
I think him and Shawn Michaels are the two best to do it.
Agreed. Yeah.
I just like the way Randy does it. Why, like in air, just like the shape of his body.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's interesting. It's almost like he lands
the arm up
first.
Yeah, he pulls the arm up and he just lands perfectly.
Yeah.
Like there's just something about it that's just so good.
It's majestic.
Yeah,
it's so majestic. It's the pro wrestling version of the Michael Jordan, like the Air Jordan symbol.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like if you were to put that silhouette on a T-shirt, everyone would be like, "Oh, Macho Man."
Macho Man. Yeah. I think it's
a move that's synonymous with him. Like, think how many people when they do it, they still will point to the sky like he did. I know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like when he hit DiBiase with it at WrestleMania 4.
Yeah.
Like just electricity. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Come on. That is so iconic.
It is. I put that at the top. That's a granddaddy move.
Me too. Yes, it is a basic move that people do use, but it's just one of those. You hear top rope elbow drop, you think Macho Man Randy Savage.
Exactly.
Totally.
So granddaddy of them all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. As it should be. Oh, that's still one of the best ones. What bums me out is they never managed to replicate it in the WWE games.
Yeah, it's so weird to me. Well, because they don't have anyone that can screen capture do it.
That's why. The graphic, the motion they used in like No Mercy in WrestleMania 2000 was this, but nobody can't do it now for whatever reason.
Huh. Yeah, weird.
Okay, so next up we have a move I'd never seen before. This guy did it, and he's beat some pretty big names with it. It is the F5.
Yeah, it's one of the greatest power moves of wrestling history.
100%.
I absolutely love it, and I still love it. I don't care how many times he does it. I'm just like, this move fits this guy, and he can get up anyone in it and still throw him around, which is why it's awesome.
Yeah, this is why it goes into top. Would go into Granddaddy of them all for me, because it's just like those other three. He hits it, the arena pops. They jump out of their seat every time.
Every time.
Yep. I 100% agree. And just I feel like it's one of the very few finishers that is like perfectly not just so much synonymous, but like makes sense for a character. Like Brock Lesnar, this massive beast of a human. Why wouldn't he just pick you up and spin you, throw you around, and pin you? Like it just makes sense.
Yeah,
and I again, remember, you think F5, you think Brock Lesnar.
Oh, 100%. I remember there's this variant he used in his first run where when he did it, he put such a spin on the guy that they would launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to tell him to stop doing that because he's hurting people. Remember that?
Do you guys remember the one he did to Albert?
Albert dropped him right on his fucking melon.
And you see Taz in the background just like, ah!
Yeah. He drops Albert right on his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
but if you're gonna do it to anyone, that guy's got like probably one of the strongest necks ever.
I've never seen anyone do it before, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it since. If I'm
because you can't.
I think it's one of those protected moves.
The Wardlow with the F10 is the closest.
Oh god, he calls it the F10. How do I not know that?
Basically, he does the same thing, but instead of him falling along with it, he just throws him from a standing.
Oh, and stops him. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
and that's another thing. I like that Brock like goes with it.
Yeah,
That's it makes it more look, because it looks, even though it's not, it's actually kind of stupid if you really think about the psychology of it. Like, why would you hit the ground? It makes no sense.
Yeah, the physics don't really make sense with it.
But you add in a 275 monster going down with you, it looks cool.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's top for me. It's one of my favorites.
It's definitely Granddaddy. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. It's synonymous. It's like these other ones. It's synonymous with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next up, we have a finisher that I think I've only ever seen successfully win one match. The figure 4 leg lock.
Oh, the figure 4. Ooh. I think it's more about flair than it is about the move.
Agreed. It's a low impressive move. It rarely beats anyone. It's really just for the spot of flipping over, so then it reverses the move on the guy giving the figure 4.
Yeah, like Charlotte Flair was smart by adding the
bridge makes it so much better.
Yeah.
Super clever.
But yeah, the figure 4 in its own, I would put it in who booked this shit. Doesn't matter if it's Ric Flair. It's a rough nowadays. I get that it was a big deal back in the day, and you did legitimately submit people with it. But nowadays,
even if when you think back to like the 60s and 70s, there was still probably a dude in every territory using the figure 4.
Yeah, or as it was known back then, for Grapevine.
Yeah, exactly. It was still even then. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't interesting.
It is fun to watch some indie kids try to hook it when they've never done it before, and it's like monkeys using tools for the first time. Sticks as tools. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah, I'm good putting it at the bottom. It's fine.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have the great Eddie Guerrero's Frog Splash.
To me, it's just like Savage's. I mean, again, I have troubles putting it in the top considering we have RVDs in there, but he does make it look pretty.
He does, and it's also like Savage, like everyone when they pay homage to Savage by doing the pointing, there's a lot of people, especially the Hispanic wrestlers, who when they go up there, they do that before they do it, right? And you do that, you know it's coming, you know it's the Frog Splash, so there's that as well.
Yeah, it's hard for me to single this out as like a granddaddy of them all type maneuver. I think it's slobber knocker territory because there's so many things about Eddie that were great that when I think Eddie, the first thing that comes to mind is not Frog Splash.
Right.
You know, like with a lot of these maneuvers, the first thing I think of is, their finishing maneuver. And I just don't think of him. I don't think Frog Splash right away, even though that's his main finish. If that makes sense. When
you do think of Eddie, what do you think of? Three Amigos?
It's that shimmy. It is the Three Amigos. Yeah. But it's usually it's the chair spot. Hit the mat, throw the chair to the opponent, fake like he just got hit. It's that kind of shit. That's what I remember Eddie for.
Right.
Yeah. I remember Eddie also for his gear, like the Latino Heat gear, the boots,
the low rider.
Honestly, Eddie's one of them dudes who knew wrestling because, and it's something that we talk about on here all the time. Which Ryan, of course, you do it, but like half the time it doesn't matter what you do in the ring.
Yeah.
But if you can make people, like you said, we're remembering a low rider, attire, some of his comedy fun stuff, like what he did in the ring.
Back to I mean, there's great matches he had, like stuff with Ray and matches with Lesnar and stuff like that. All awesome stuff. But the character and just how much fun he was to watch from the lie, cheat, and steal Eddie was so much fun to watch.
The Lesnar stuff, you do remember the Frog Splash though, because that's where he won the title.
Yeah, that's the one Frog Splash.
You remember that Frog Splash?
That's the only one.
Big wrestling fan, you remember the one he hit on JBL from the top of the cage later that year.
See, I don't even remember that one.
And the only other one I remember is when he messed up his elbow the very first night he showed up in WWE.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
His elbow, yeah.
I think Slobberknocker's good for it, and I think it's more about the talent than the move.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like Eddie was just so good. Like, yes, this was his finisher, but all his moves, they stood out just as much.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have CM Punk's Go to Sleep.
Yeah, I've always been, I don't know, I've always been 50-50 on the Go to Sleep. I don't know why, because I never felt like it's high impact enough as a finisher. And again, I put Punk like with Eddie. I don't necessarily think of the Go to Sleep as when I think of Punk. Like his finisher isn't really what I care about.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he was in his height of his WWE run, it just, I don't know. I just never, I thought it was cool, but I just never got into it. I don't know.
Like, I still pop whenever it happens just because it's CM freaking Punk, and you know normally it's
exactly, because you're popping. It's just Punk. Like the Eddie thing. You like it because it's him, not necessarily because it's a great move.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, it's visually it's pretty cool, but it's never super memorable.
And again, I think it goes back to something Ryan said earlier that we're taking out of this is how the people take it, right? And
right.
Man, some people take it poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Some people take it like champs. It's one of the moves that, like you said with Ambrose, is that some people just don't take it well. When it's not taken well, it looks sloppy.
And even if it's not done well, it also doesn't look great either. Like, it's a little bit of spoilers for Dynamite. Hangman Page actually won his match with it, and it wasn't exactly the smoothest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's kind of a tough move to hit, isn't it, Ryan? I mean, throwing the guy over your head. And Punk's not the biggest dude in the world either.
Yeah, that's another problem with it too. Is it's kind of somewhat. I mean, especially because he's not a very tall guy, so the guy's coming down. He's got to like bring his knee way up, like the one he did to Edge when he like bringing that spot back. The one he did to Edge, it looked so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That when I was saying it's weird, that was the one I was thinking of as the Edge one.
Yeah, that would be. It would be a great move for someone like Lesnar to use. Someone that size would be really devastating. But yeah, I think it's a mid move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking mid to low slobber knocker.
Yeah, I think mid's good.
Yeah, mid's good as well. I agree with you guys there. Next up, we have a finisher that, my God, the guy who did it picked up some of the biggest guys to deliver this move in this heyday. It is the Jackhammer, and I use the picture of him jackhammering the Giant.
I actually got to witness him do this live on a house, or no, it was a Thunder taping.
Oh,
in the Fargo Dome. This was after the cameras went off air. It didn't actually show on TV, but he gave the jackhammer to Big Show in the middle of the ring. It was the craziest freaking thing I'd ever seen.
I can imagine.
I blew my. Yeah, I love this maneuver. I love it so much.
I love it too. I love it too.
Nowadays, it can be dangerous, as we saw what happened with Taker a few years ago. But some of the memorable ones, like for example, the one against the Giant here. Whenever he would do it to somebody you didn't think he could do it to, it just blew your mind.
I remember the first one that blew my mind because he did it before the Giant, and this is a deep cut, but remember in the Flock, Reese? The big dude?
Yes.
When he did it to him, that was the first time I thought, holy shit.
Yeah.
This guy is huge. And I mean, even a couple of years ago, I mean, it probably helps that Lesnar's talented, but he held Lesnar in the air for a couple seconds.
And Ziggler was the perfect size opponent for him.
I mean,
I tell you what, though, whenever I think of like the Jackhammer, though, the first one that comes to mind is just the pop he gets when he gets Hogan up in the title match.
Yeah.
The crowd goes ape shit.
Yes.
It's so awesome. It's just one of those moves, as soon as he's got you, you're going for a ride.
And the thing about it is it's the opposite. When he was doing that run in WCW, all people wanted was to watch him spear and jackhammer people. Mm-hmm. They didn't care about anything else. They wanted the entrance, and they wanted to watch him spear and jackhammer people.
Yep.
Everything else didn't matter.
Yeah.
That's why it's iconic.
they didn't want 30-minute matches out of him, which is great because he couldn't do 30-minute matches.
Yep. Yeah, as I was just watching I've been watching Legends of Wrestling roundtables on the WWE Network, and as Kevin Nash said, it's like you were expecting to do 20 with them at a house, 20 with them on a pay-per-view, but it was hard to get 12 out of them at a house show.
Well, wow. Right. Of course it was.
No. But
I think it's right up to the top of just because I like power moves too. So, a finisher feels like it needs to be powerful.
Right, and like I said, some of the impressive feats of strength in his early days were just...
Agreed.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so next up we have Shinsuke Nakamura's Kinshasa.
Yeah. Yeah, not a fan.
Me neither.
I don't like any move that's like a quick thing like that when it comes to like their legs. Like I also don't like Bryan's kick.
Really?
That I don't think it's good. I don't get into moves like that. Like the run, quick little, I don't know, kick, knee, whatever, and then it's a finisher. I've never liked it. Like any of those finishers.
I've never. The thing I knock against this one for me is most of the time to me it looks like he's collapsing as soon as he hits. Like it looks awkward.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. It's along the lines of kind of the Batista bomb. It doesn't look like a clean, crisp move.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, arguably, it would really suck to get, for real. It probably would knock you out, and you could get pinned. But
right,
it's like it's almost like, and Ryan, I could be totally wrong on this. It feels like it's a tough move to kind of even pull off cleanly, because, like you said, I mean.
There's a certain margin for error there.
It's hard to take your shin and run and hit somebody in the head with it.
Yeah.
And make it look like you're not going to take their head off.
Yeah, so it's an awkward angle, and to be coming at someone's side of the head too, with oftentimes not a lot of people have anything covering. I mean, a lot of people wear kick pads, but even with that, your shin bone is still a pretty sharp bone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just there's a certain margin for error there. The margin versus how it looks is just it doesn't weigh out right.
Yeah,
I'd put it at the bottom. Sure, we'll go with it.
Yeah, because it still looks like it could hurt. It just looks awkward as shit.
Right.
Next up, we have probably one of the more iconic finishers in the professional wrestling. We have the leg drop by Hulk Hogan.
Oof.
I mean,
it
still pops whenever he does it, but god damn, is it such a boring move.
I put it right in line with Cena's in the mid because of the iconic nature behind the person doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I don't think it's a great move, but in all honesty, people pop for the boot. Like,
it's coming.
That's the pop.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jake's. You know it's coming.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of
the
where
boot or the. Go ahead.
No, you're right. Keep going. You're right on.
Oh, it was the boot, or it's the 3-punch come up. You boom, 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 big boot, hit the leg drop, call it a day.
Or if it was a bigger opponent like an Earthquake or an Andre, the body slam too, right?
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of along the lines of like Eddie Guerrero. Like you're more of a fan of the guy. Well, not so much anymore with Hogan's case, but at the time you were more of a fan of just saying your prayers, eating your vitamins. Yeah, big boot, big body slam, leg drop. Nothing really stood out specifically other than the skullet.
It was the package of skullet. I put it in the mid just because it's.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely one of those mid.
Iconic enough for that.
Yeah.
Next up, and I find it funny. Pay attention to who's in the picture, but it is Chris Masters' Master Lock, and I took a picture of him doing it to Bobby Lashley.
With Bobby, that's funny.
Nice.
I was never a fan of the full Nelson for a finisher.
No, it's so boring.
Yeah, so boring. Slow submission. And no offense, can you actually knock someone out with it in real life if you really did it? I mean, my God.
I think you could only hope that they would pass out if you actually dislocated their shoulders bad enough.
Maybe. Or if you're able to push their head down enough to maybe block the wind a little bit.
Yeah.
I have
choke out
somebody
that
else
way.
from face lock before, but I don't think a full Nelson could.
Yeah. No, it's terrible. I like to put it on my son. I mean, I do put the full Nelson on him all the time. But yeah, it's bad.
Better as a slam or that butt buster that Bubba Ray Dudley does.
I do like the
bubble
butt
bomb.
buster. The bubble bomb's good. I like the slams either. I don't think those are good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought Test had a great one back in the day.
Yeah, I do like. You're right. Test
True.
was good, but who thinks so? Yeah.
Yeah.
Who thinks anything that Test was good?
Yeah, Test was not good.
You know,
No.
he was not good, but I'm not going to lie. Some of his moves I actually do appreciate. I still say he had the best big boot.
He did. He had big old long legs.
I think it's because he was actually clobbering people with it. I think he was like one of the stiffest guys back then.
That was the shtick, right? Wasn't that a big thing that he was always having issues?
So.
Yeah, I heard about it more so in ECW for sure.
Yeah, because that was a big thing when they pushed him in ECW, or the WWE ECW, was that he was crushing people during that time. And everybody was like, how aren't you better at this?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, put that in the bottom. I don't care about that one.
The shit, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it had its time, it had its place, and it died with Billy Jack Haynes' career. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Next up, we have, this is the second power bomb, and the pop-up power bomb.
Oh, the pop-up. I don't even thought of it. I wouldn't have thought another move that it depends on who's taking it.
Right. Cena took it pretty decently.
Yeah. But it's a move I've seen people take it so poorly, though.
Yeah.
Because it's a hard... Ryan, this move is all the other person.
It's a good timing thing. Like, it's mostly on the person taking it to really get that good pop. But you're assisted greatly by the person, Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens giving you that pop, so it's a really good timing thing. But yeah, if your timing sucks or if your person isn't willing to actually take a decent bump, it can look real shitty real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And is this why also now that is he even doing it anymore?
He pulls it out from time to time.
It's a
more of a big scenario thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I like it for that.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a better move if used that way. Because it is a cool move when hit right. I'm not going to lie to you. Super cool. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel kind of mid about it.
Think about it.
Sorry, what was that?
You say you kind of don't think about it?
I don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never even thought I'd be on this list. If I'd have made the list of 50 maneuvers, I would have probably picked it.
Okay.
Yeah,
and it's not. I'm not saying I don't like it. I just.
Yeah, it's just to you. It's not what you think come to mind when you think power bomb.
Yeah, I would have honestly never. I honestly maybe would have never thought of it. But I do like it.
Yeah, this was on that original list that I copied. Ish.
No, it's a good one to throw on because it's not so like some of these other ones.
It's a different version of it.
Right. I don't know. I'd put it in the
mid.
I'd put it in the mid. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, we have the Razor's Edge.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was waiting for this one. Yeah, gear's great. God, he had
that
gear.
is yeah, the green and gold. Yeah. Come on.
I wasn't a fan of the salmon pink one he had.
Oh yeah.
That was a little
I loved
weird.
when he wore the purple. I thought the purple was awesome.
Yeah, the classic purple was always Razor.
Yeah, and of course the black one because that's the one he won his title.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I liked the blue one too. There was like a light blue one he had.
Yeah, there's also
that was real sharp.
There's a yellow one.
God, what a guy!
Yeah. But the Razor's Edge is an interesting one because it looks cool.
And it's
until he hits it, and then they're like, because he's almost like laying people down. Even as a kid, I thought that
it's landing like a paper airplane.
Yeah, like I love it's super cool the way the people are just like dangling there, right?
Yeah.
But then he just is like, all right. There you go.
How many people can you say have been injured by it?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to give it. I'll give you that, but I don't know. It was again, even as a kid, I remember thinking it should be better.
Because this fall in that category, that it's more the person than the move.
Probably. And again, I don't really think of the Razor's Edge when I think of Razor. I'd probably think of 5 other things first.
Really?
Yeah.
I
think of the chain and the toothpick and the voice. You know, I would think of all the other things.
Okay.
The abdominal stretch.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he had that abdominal stretch was awesome that he did.
Yeah.
His height really added to it.
Yeah, that's why.
Every once in a while, he grabbed the foot, and he was the only person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Love that.
I'm gonna do that on Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
Do the Razor abdominal stretch.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, footage doesn't count. No, just kidding. So because of that,
I mean, I don't know.
It's iconic, but it's more the person and the move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a mid.
Yeah. It falls in the mid category with the leg drop and the FU and the 619. Yeah.
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 That's fine.
And next up, we have the RKO out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, that's an obvious slobber knocker move.
Slobber knocker?
Grand. I'm sorry, I meant Grand. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, do we even have to discuss this? It's
okay.
It's the best.
Quiz, which is your favorite RKO out of nowhere? Because there's been quite a few.
I mean, I really love the Seth Rollins one. I really do.
Yeah.
I know Orton says his favorites that.
Yeah, the one I just brought the picture above with.
What the hell's his name? Jesus, I'm not thinking of people. Evan Bourne. I was going to say something completely different.
That's it. Yeah.
And
the thing about this one though is the timing of it. That's what makes it impressive.
It is. Mm-hmm. Granted, I mean, I don't know if you saw, Ryan. Did you watch the 6-man from Backlash?
No.
Oh my God, he hits one on Roman mid Roman spear. Pretty awesome.
Nice. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Pop of the night. Yeah. It comes out of nowhere. I mean, literally, like the way they cut the camera too, you don't see Roman coming.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he gets in frame and Orton just drops him. And Roman is mid spear. I mean, he's like in the air with his arms out. Nice. And I'm like, ooh, that was a good one.
Nice.
But I'm there still on that.
This is easily one of the best finishers because you can do just a slight tweak to make it memorable. You can hit it on anybody, and it always brings the crowd out of their seats.
Yeah, I always really like the way that he did it with Jeff Hardy, where Hardy would go for the twist of fate, and Orton would just keep spinning around all the way right into it. It's such a cool athletic looking maneuver. The way Orton does it too, it's just so cool and crisp.
It is. I always thought the crisp. Yeah, I thought the one he did, and this is a forgotten one because it just is so random. But when him and Brock were in their feud 4 or 5 years ago, Brock and Heyman were doing the promo, and Orton sneaks through and jumps in the ring and just comes from behind him and just rolls up and slams him, and then just gets up and walks out. And I'm like, that was so sweet. Like he made it so sly,
just like a snake that he is.
Yeah, just like a snake. He literally slithers in and just snaps him down, and that's it.
That one he did on the hood of the car to Hogan.
Yes.
I love that one. That one's so funny to me for some reason. It's just crazy.
It doesn't look like an RKO.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He grabs him, slides down the hood, and it's like Hogan doesn't really get hurt.
Yeah, it's stupid, but I love it.
I love it.
Yeah, this is easily granddaddy of them all. It'll 100%. Go down. It'll go down into history as up there along with Hogan's leg drop, Macho Man's elbow drop, the sharpshooter with Bret Hart. It's gonna.
Hey, when you're getting gifs and when you're a gif and a meme and a viral video, good for you.
And people are replicating your move on their wives into swimming pools, like you've made it.
Totally.
Hey, me and my son wrestled tonight, and I hit him with an RK out of nowhere.
Oh,
Dropped him right on the couch.
Dropped him.
All right. So next up, we have the sharpshooter, done by Bret Hart, because there's nobody that can do it any better. Owen Hart probably comes the closest.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Bret fan, so it's hard for me not to just say I love it in every way. I mean, it's awesome. Granted, now I would. Sorry, say that one more time.
I made a few kids cry with it.
Yeah, oh yeah. You know, the only issue is it does follow along a couple things we've talked about. It's a little diluted now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people do it.
Yeah,
a lot of people do the sharpshooter.
It looks horribly. Like The Rock's is probably the worst sharpshooter you'll ever see.
The Rock's sharpshooter so bad.
It's just more on the
line. Like Cena was so doing bad. So bad. Yeah, it was bad.
Natalia's is actually okay, but again, it's just another person doing the move.
Yeah, that is the only issue with it.
Well.
Sure.
Of FTR, he did.
You know, I thought
just.
Yeah. Oh, Punk was doing it for a while in WWE too, and Cesaro was doing it for a while. I never really liked Cesaro's
for a bit too.
That's right, Benoit did too. Yeah.
So that's the issue. Is the gravitas is lost a little bit.
But Bret Hart's
right. I still think it carries enough weight to be slobber knocker worthy.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's where I'd put it.
Okay, so next up, we have the spear as done by Edge. Not the best picture, I will admit, but hey.
Yeah.
God, when he hits it, it's really cool, though.
Yeah.
Something about the way he hits it, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people, it's like they spear and had the follow through. Him is like it's like literally a takedown, the tackle on the side.
Yeah. It's almost like, well,
because when you look at what Roman does,
Roman
is like a football player, like a linebacker.
Yeah, he kind of like lays out, fully. Yeah. Edge kind of uses, like it's like the idea of his bony shoulder just kind of going in and taking you down and driving you into the mat, kind of thing.
Yeah, I like it. I think the only spear that I like as much as Edge is this Goldberg's, and that's just because he's killing you with it.
Well, the gore,
and almost knocking himself out.
Oh, the gore was great too. By the way, that's a finisher I'd throw on here. I love the gore from Rhino.
Still, my favorite gore was the gore on Jericho through the SmackDown set.
Yeah. Oh, Rhino had that's what I would put on this list. The gore was a great finisher.
Hell yeah, it was. Through all the tables Rhino in the corner too.
Right?
Yeah.
And it hurt Rhino
that one that he killed Spike Dudley with in the table in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, he murders him.
Yeah. And like I said, it's one of those moves that it hurts him just as much. But
totally.
But no, Edge's spear, I would put it based on all that, I would think slobber knocker.
Yeah.
It's not a great
I would agree.
I'd put it there.
No, but it's a pretty iconic setup too, like when he actually sets up for it.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those that kind of hits out of nowhere, has that aspect to it,
And at WrestleMania, he hit it on AJ Styles out of midair.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. We stole that from a Roman AJ spot.
Yeah.
Yep. Slobber was good for me.
Yeah, I like that.
Random Lego piece on the ground. Didn't want the dog chewing it.
I get it.
Fair.
Okay. So yeah, so slobber knocker.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had to put this one on here.
I saw this earlier.
Oh, gross.
So gross.
I can't believe that's a fucking finisher.
I mean, it's not. It's
not, but whenever you play him in a video game, it is.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I think it's funny you put it on here because it was iconic. I mean, I cannot believe how over that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
The ladies did it. Yeesh. Back then.
Yeah.
But it's in Who Booked This shit because you're literally just
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the aspect of it's terrible, but legitimately, like, who booked this shit?
Yeah.
I know. It was so over though. It was
right.
for like a year and a half. That's all you wanted
They
to
made
see.
Millions.
I know.
He made millions off of that.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars. Ryan, all you had to do was gain 100 pounds and stick your ass in people's faces, and you could have been a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I also probably didn't hurt that he was from a pretty decent family.
Yeah, that helps.
But
Yeah, and he was in WWE for like 10 years prior, literally.
Yeah, he had 37 other gimmicks.
Right?
Yeah.
People forget that worked. He probably would have done anything at that point.
People forget the amount of gimmick changes that guy went through.
I still can't believe that. I still can't believe the Sultan didn't work.
Right? I was less surprised that it didn't work. More surprised that it was him as the Sultan.
Right?
When I saw that out. Holy shit!
Yeah.
God.
It's those beautiful eyes.
Right?
Or when he teamed with, what was that, like the 1995 when he teamed with Barbarian? And they changed Barbarians.
Earlier than that, because 95 is when he did that, was it Make a Difference or whatever? No, that was 96.
That was 96. No, 95 was when he was with Barbarian.
Sorry, the dog. Yeah, okay, that was.
What did they changed Barbarian's name to?
Yeah, because they did for the. It was for
that was after Head Shrinkers.
Oh yeah.
Well, it was still under the Head Shrinkers name.
Okay.
It was, but they changed Barb's name to something super stupid, and
that doesn't sound like WWE at all.
Yeah. Right? Oh well, 95 WWE is like just the absolute worst.
Hey, wasn't that when Max Moon was really thriving though?
Max with the Goon. The Blue Brothers.
Talked poorly about the Goon.
The Blue Brothers were going well. Mantar.
Barry Horowitz.
Barry Horriblewitz.
Okay, did you guys catch the parody of Dark Side of the Ring from last week? I know Dustin did because I sent it to him.
Oh yeah.
Did you, Ryan?
Nuh-uh.
You have to check this out because it's done to further the feud with Wardlow, but MJF does a parody of Dark Side of the Ring that is fucking hilarious, and they do have Barry Horowitz on there, billed as the greatest Jewish wrestler of all time.
Unbelievable. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, you have to check it down. It is genius, especially Jericho. Jericho partway through it's just like,
yeah, it's good.
MGF is doing this? Why would I want to do anything to help him? How much is he paying?
Nice.
Definitely go check
it was pretty clever. It was cute.
Awesome.
Okay, so next up we have the Stone Cold Stunner.
Oh,
that's
100%. It's a 100% granddaddy. It's so iconic. I'm so surprised. Like, I guess I'm not surprised anymore, but when Kevin Owens started using it, I was kind of like, oh no, they're finally letting someone else use it, and I don't like that. But it's going well, I feel, and Austin's is just amazing. It's so good.
Agreed. But if there was ever anybody who could come close to living up to the legacy like that, it is Kevin Owens. He's got
Agreed.
Kind of attitude. Austin had some of the best stunners, as we saw like in WrestleMania this year, some of the worst. But whenever I think of stunner, I still say like the best pure sell is Shawn Michaels at 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the best one. That's the one I think of.
Yeah, me too.
As Michaels at 14 takes it perfect.
Yeah, and like there have been some good ones, but a lot of those other good ones were more on like there was some comedy thrown in there, like Shane McMahon's with the freaking fountain.
Yep.
I know, man. Austin Theory took the coolest one at Mania this year.
He did, yeah. I'll give him that. So did
his McAfee's was good too. I liked them.
The homage to Shane with the spit.
Yeah, the spit. Going back.
One I always like to think about though is kind of in the lines of the comedy is the Rock with the camera on the table, and he's flipping off the crowd, and then turns. There's Austin, bam.
Yep, and hits him with the stunner. It's so funny.
Yeah. I love that one.
And I mean, even now, still, like, it's weird that even 20 years later, people still fake stunner all the time. Like, that's a thing in my people that I don't even like wrestling. Like, it's such a guy thing. They'll just go stunner and they'll grab your head
they know
and I'm
what
like, that's such a thing. I'm like, because I'm like, you haven't watched wrestling in 20 years and you're still stunnering people.
Yeah, it's one of those few things in pro wrestling that's transcended the sport. Like, and the only other good example I can really say is the Daniel Bryan. Yes. You go to any sporting event nowadays, and you can get that chant going.
Yeah.
So the stunner has completely transcended the sport. It's bigger than pro wrestling.
Agreed, 100%. And it's one of those moves that, from what I hear, it's an honor to take.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised to. I'd probably feel the same way.
God, but I think of the leg drop and the stunner, man. To fall on your ass that many times.
Yeah.
Man, that has to start taking a toll after 10 years.
Yeah.
A little bit. That's why I stopped doing the top rope leg drop.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would do it.
That's tough. That's tough on the body, I'm sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Gravity's fun. All right.
All right, so next up we have the Styles Clash.
Styles Clash is good.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it Granddaddy, but I'd say it's up there.
It's cool. It's cool because it's so cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
it's so unique.
It's so unique. But it's so out of the populace now because he just doesn't use it very often. WWE definitely doesn't really want him using it.
No. He still pulls it out from time to time, but yeah, they consider it a dangerous move because then he hurts his neck.
He's hurt a lot of people with it.
Okay.
But based on what I know, and Ryan, again, you're the talent here. A lot of it's because the people take it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what I remember.
The first thing in with bumping is they tell you really is tuck your chin. The last thing you want to do is be bumping the back of your head on the mat all the time. But when you're taking the Styles Clash, you're not taking a bump going backwards, so you don't need to tuck your chin. But that's your first instinct is to tuck your chin. It's thousands of reps. That's your first thing to do. When you're taking the Styles Clash, that's a real bad angle to have your neck, so that's what happens.
Yeah, because there's that one in ROH, and I could never tell you who it was against, but the dude tucked his chin, I think, out of that.
Yeah. And I think that's the one that got the ban.
Oh, my God, it was bad. It's a bad thing to watch. But, yeah, he's done it a bunch of times. I can get it. And, again, it is such a cool move that when he pulls it out once a year in WWE, it's awesome.
Yeah, and he just pulled it out. Hey, he just pulled it. Shit.
He's a new dog dad. He's learning.
That's awesome. That was fantastic, though. Just bolts on the screen.
Oh, shit. I hear
barking.
Funny.
Yeah, no, he pulled it out on Edge, and because Edge is a pretty big dude, it looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's
I think it's
some
a slobber
real quality. Yeah, I agree. I would say slobber knocker status. There's been some cool like reversals he's gotten into it. Like the one recently comes to mind, that one with Ricochet with the front suplex on the top rope.
That was
catch
cool.
right into it. Just real clever way to get into a move that seemingly only has one way to get into, but not really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Right, so slobber knocker?
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Roman Reigns' Superman Punch.
Oh, God.
It's a cool picture.
It is.
That is pretty bad, though.
The only cool thing about it is Roman being cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is cool. The fact that he's up and he has this pose, like you said, Savage with the NBA. Like, Roman can do that, where he does this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Super cool. But, my God, he hits it so much. I mean, just over and over and over again.
Right. And again, it's not even like his main finisher. I would say it's more of a setup move at this point.
Basically, But basically, I didn't want to use the spear twice, even though I know it.
Yeah, sure. Totally.
I mean, for a while there, because they wanted to get it over, he was using it as a finisher.
100%.
And then I had to watch him
for the fact. No, go ahead.
No, then I had to watch him hit Brock with it like 7 times in a row, and I'm like, this is the worst.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's kind of maybe maybe just for the cool looking aspect. No one else really does it as well.
No.
Can hit it out of nowhere on anyone.
I don't know. I'd put it one tier lower even.
I put it
it next to Nakamura's kick. I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah. I don't know. Where are you at, Soda, on that?
No, I'm in there too. What's up with that?
Yeah. Because it does look cool if done kind of cool. I mean, it does look cool.
Yeah.
Because Roman.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's still like when I'm playing my wrestling games, it's still one I put on my character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Sweet Chin Music, and I probably went with the most iconic Sweet Chin music.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the roll up after is great too.
Oh my God.
That one was stiff.
Yeah. But that's another one. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a bad move. A bad take of the move.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen anybody take it horribly? I can't say I have.
Not Shelton Benjamin.
No, that's still the best in my opinion.
Oh, that one's so good.
So good. It's still one of the greatest finishes of all time.
Agreed, 100%.
Yeah,
I think one of the more underrated Shawn Michaels super kicks was the one that he eliminated Diesel with in the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
That timing was just so perfect to then send him over as he's feeding around. It's so good.
It's so good. That is such a good pick out. That is a great, and the way Vince calls it, because it happens so fast. Because Michaels eliminates comma.
Yeah.
Right. Oh no, Diesel does. And then Vince goes, "It's Diesel, it's Michaels," and then in that, he's already on his way over.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That is one that's stuck in my brain. Is that Diesel kick?
And of course, well, actually, I don't know. I think this one might actually probably take the cake for the most iconic. Is the Ric Flair one from 24? I love you.
I love you. Yeah.
No, it's great though. And the tuning up that he started to do later was pretty clever.
Yep.
Got people moving, but it's always good. I mean, it ranks up there with the stunner and stuff.
Yeah,
you're still super kicking. Hey,
you think Shawn Michaels? You think super kick? That's one of the things you think of.
Yeah.
And even though it's like the most watered down move right now, though.
But I don't see that as but even we talk so many watered down moves, right? But I don't look at anybody else's super kick the way I look at Shawn's.
No, agreed.
It's a class of its own.
It is. So
it's like Hogan's leg drop. It's a basic move, but it's Hogan's leg drop.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I put a granddaddy. I think it's great.
Me too. All right, next up, we have the move that was made to try to break the Undertaker, the People's Elbow.
Yeah.
No joke how it came about. They tried to break the Undertaker.
I love People's Elbow. I mean, it's stupid, but I love it.
I love the spectacle of it. Yeah.
I love the spectacle of it.
And the way he tweaks it depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when he's going up, he'll throw in a taunt.
Yeah, like the flare walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love when he slides into it too.
Yeah.
He slides and stops
the one
himself.
time he did that, if I'm not mistaken, I think I saw him do an imitation of Austin. One time comes in, he's like, and then he does the elbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like when they incorporated the Undertaker sitting up and then he kicks him back down and then drops the elbow.
Yes. See, it's dumb, but it's fun.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I mean, throwing of the elbow pad and if there's nothing there, he'll yell to John Cena. John Cena will toss him one of his wristbands and he'll throw a wristband.
That was what?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fun move.
It's fun. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing the move itself, it's a mid, but overall, it's all fun.
Yeah, because of the fun, but because it is also a fucking elbow drop, I'd say slobber knocker at best.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, at best. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
That was one of the moves I was thinking of today. I was wondering if you're going to put it on the list today. I was like, I love it.
Next up, we have another move that is synonymous with one person, even though there have been a few people that have done it. The Tombstone Pile Driver.
It's the Tombstone.
Yeah.
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 Adam Page busted out also tonight.
Really? I'm cool with the Tombstone, but I itself is an iconic move, but I don't know. It lacks a little bit for me at points, but I get it.
I feel like this one's just kind of has slowly depreciated over the years.
I think so.
When it first came on the scene, it was so cool, so different. But then you see things like springboard tornado DDTs and Canadian destroyers and all this other crazy stuff that just doing this and dropping to your knees kind of loses its wow, that's so cool.
But there have been instances where he's come out of nowhere, like he did to Batista when he caught Shawn Michaels in the moonsault and gave him
that one's so bomb.
The jumping one to end Shawn Michaels.
The jumping one was awesome.
Slap.
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to give it to Mark fucking Henry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, it's such an iconic move because it's Taker.
Yeah, and it's one of those nobody could do in WWE unless you were named Undertaker.
Right.
That's
true.
it does have kind of that special status. Like I see it teetering between Slobber Knocker and Granddaddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely right in that high slobber knocker to me.
Yeah, I'm comfortable enough with the high slobber knocker.
Yeah. All right, let's put her there.
Oh, a little
Put her there.
Well, luckily we're on the last one.
Last one. Let's do it.
And it is the Yes Lock. That looked like it freaking hurts.
Yeah.
I do like Yes Lock.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
It's pretty cool
right now.
And I mean, it's like a legitimate move too.
Yeah.
You know, that will mess up your shoulder. That'll mess up your neck. You know.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I always liked it. I mean, I like the I like the crossface. I think the crossface is a cool move.
I agree.
And it's just a variation of that. I mean,
with the leg on top of the shoulder too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here you're getting it there. I don't think I've ever seen anyone kick out of it. Like, I'm not talking make it to the ropes, but I mean like survive the move.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it
I
won
like
a world title, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good.
It's pretty cool, but it's not like massively exciting.
No.
Right.
But it has potential because I believe I've seen him like hit it, but out of countering somebody in AEW. So I mean, it does have the potential. But
he does have some clever counters with it, which you wouldn't expect from how intricate the maneuver is to just have locked in.
Right.
So that's pretty cool, and the legitimacy to it speaks to it as well. So I don't know. I'm torn on this one.
Slobber knocker? Like low slobber knocker?
I would say low tier slobber knocker.
It would be low to me because, again, I'm thinking of Daniel Bryan. There's many other things I'm thinking of before I'm thinking
if I'm being honest, when I think of Daniel Bryan, I do think of the knee.
Do you think of the knee?
I
think of the knee too, and I don't like the knee.
Kicks.
So, yeah, that's probably what I would think about more is the kicks.
Yeah.
And they're not even his finisher. So I'd put it mid, but I get it. I get it if you guys want to hire. I'm fine with it. But
yeah, like literally the last slobber knocker.
Perfect. Yeah, I wouldn't put it above some of the other ones that are there. Probably any of them.
All right. Well, that's our list.
Look at that.
So the granddaddy of them all, the 5-star frog splash, Kurt Angle's ankle lock, Macho Man's elbow drop, the F5, the jackhammer, the RKO, the Stone Cold Stunner, and sweet chin music. In Slobber Knocker, we've got the Tombstone Piledriver, Jake the Snake's DDT, the Codebreaker, the Curb Stomp, Eddie Guerrero's Frog Splash, the Sharpshooter, Edge's Spear, the Styles Clash, the People's Elbow, and the Yes/Labelle Lock. In mid, we've got the 619, the Attitude Adjustment, the Go to Sleep, Hogan's Leg Drop, the Pop-Up Powerbomb, and the Razor's Edge. And in What's Up With That, we've got the Batista Bomb, Kane's Chokeslam, the Kinshasa, and Superman Punch. And to round it out, bottom of the barrel, who booked this shit? Dirty Deeds, the Figure 4, Master Lock, and the Stink Face. It's pretty good. It's a pretty good list.
I like that list. It's a quality list.
Yeah.
So the quick question, I have two of them before we jump off, is what's your favorite of the list? What's the number one of yours?
Everything on the list?
Yeah. What is your? Let me ask it twofold. What do you think is the greatest finisher, and what's your favorite finisher of the list?
If I'm gonna go favorite out of all these, it's Macho Man's elbow drop.
Okay.
Just based on everything we said, when we were discussing it. Plus, like if I'm in my life, I use a lot in video games. I just love the Macho Man elbow drop, and then just to think back to when I was a kid trying to hit it on a trampoline.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
But the best one, I'd have to go with the RKO just because of how quick it is and the amount of different ways you can hit it on people.
Yeah, I think those are good picks.
Yeah, and anybody can take it.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, what about you, Ryan?
My favorite is the 5-star frog splash. I love that move. It's one that I emulated in my backyard wrestling days. It's one that I've used in the ring a few times. Huge mark for that. Just RVD in general, huge mark for RVD. But I think the greatest of all time, to me, hands down, is the Stone Cold Stunner.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I said, it transcends the sport. People are still doing it. I mean, the RKO, I think, is the next closest thing to the stunner in that respect, and it's kind of the same move in general. But yeah, I think it's one of those two moves for sure.
Yeah, I think the greatest is the stunner. I think my favorite, honestly, and maybe it kind of goes with Soda of like my memories as a kid and how much I loved it, is the Jackhammer. I think that's my favorite. I could not get enough of it. Just even now, even though he's old, like, I don't know, man, he put somebody up with the Jackhammer and I'm still like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's still pretty sweet.
Sweet move. It's pretty cool. So then my last question is what's a finisher or two that's not on the list that you guys would think of? Like, I have a couple. I'm trying to also think of singles. I'm not doing tag teams, just singles.
Oh, yeah. Actually, doing a tag team for your tier list would be fun.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Tag teams have great finishers. One of mine would be the clothesline from hell.
Oh, yeah, agreed.
That I love.
Sure.
I love watching between Stan Hansen and JBL taking people's heads off. I love them both.
JBL was doing it as part of the APA when the person would miss and then he'd run to the opposite ropes and just
kill them. I mean,
yeah,
that was a tough one. That was one I always liked.
There are three that come to mind for me. The 450.
Yeah.
The shooting star press. And the brogue kick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the bro kick is a good one. You know, the other one I actually like, and I think Finley was doing it before Sheamus was, is the Celtic Cross. I forgot what Finley called it, but I think that's a cool looking move. The whole like hooking the legs with the head underneath and just dropping them down. Not super powerful, but super cool looking.
I was always a fan of Buff Bagwell's Blockbuster.
That's a random one.
That is cool.
It's a good one though.
It's pretty random, but yeah, it's just, I've always loved the way he did it.
Yeah, I like that one too. I mean, I do like the fact that we brought up the gore earlier because, I mean, Rhino Gore and people was super fun for a couple years.
Hell yeah!
I mean, it was pretty cool.
I didn't even throw in the pedigree in there. It could look.
I'm surprised the pedigree wasn't on here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, yeah. I should have added it on. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the ones that I'm surprised isn't we didn't have on the list, is because it's such a big move. But I'm just trying to think if there's any other ones that are kind of random. I was
X Factor.
One I love, do the Taz mission.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice.
I love the hook behind the head and just taking them right down and wrapping your legs around them.
Yeah.
Like,
or
I've got two submissions. One is the Texas Cloverleaf. I just think that looks.
I like the Cloverleaf.
And for whatever reason, I've always loved it, especially the way Lance Storm did it, the single leg Boston Crab.
Yeah. It looks cool.
Especially when he would like drop down from somebody who was being Irish ripped and he would like roll through it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was so smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, I had one more. What was it? What the hell? I lost it.
You know, the other one I would think of, just while you're thinking, is because it was like the first move that scared me as a kid. It was the bonsai drop from Yokozuna.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That was one I loved as a kid, and I was afraid of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's a big dude, and that heel run of Yoko's, which that heel title run is one of the most underrated title runs in the history of WWE.
Agreed.
He was a badass for that year. And my God, watching him, I remember when he did it, I think I've told Soda, when he did it to Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Hacksaw spit the blood up, as a kid, I was like, oh my God, he killed Hacksaw. Yeah. I'm so afraid of this guy.
There was one, I wouldn't necessarily put it on the greatest, but it just always looked so brutal, especially coming from Ron Simmons, was the Dominator.
Yes.
Dominator, yeah.
Man, that's terrifying to take.
So I've got one, and I'm actually surprised Braun Breaker doesn't use it, but it's the Steiner screwdriver.
The Steiner screwdriver.
Oh, yeah. Suplex into the tombstone.
Driver, yeah.
Vince would say, no.
Yeah, Vince is that's on the no list.
That is
He likes Breaker, but I think that's on the no list.
I've always loved that finisher for whatever reason. It just looks so devastating.
Yeah. Right. Oh, same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Yeah, I think those are those are the
me
ones.
too. Me too. And that's a
So
great
what's
way.
Yep, one last one. That's it, and then then let's Soda cut me off. All right, Ryan, what's the one finisher you're not going to take?
I'm not gonna take.
Or you don't want to, if you had your choice, where you're like, oh no, I'm not into it.
Oh, that's a really good question because I do a lot of stupid shit.
Or you wouldn't be thrilled about it.
The dick flip from Joey Ryan if he wasn't canceled.
Yeah.
I guess I've never really been a big fan of like powerbomb type maneuvers. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, and guys doing power bombs are usually pretty big dudes, so they can throw me down with some force, and it sucks. So
yeah, because you lose all control in that situation.
Yeah. Like once I kind of give a little press off of their thighs and kind of do my sit up. Once I'm sitting up, I'm at their mercy.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then there's Mick Foley. Yeah, I'll take it on a concrete floor.
Yeah, Mick Foley's crazy.
Still fun to watch, though. Still one of the greatest of all time.
Oh, it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that concludes the episode. That was a great discussion concerning this. So it was only an idea that popped in my head around noon today.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of doing these tier lists every once in a while. Just it brings up a fun discussion, right?
Yeah. Agreed.
But I the one I really want to do is the tag team finishers, because I think tag team finishers don't get enough love, and there are some great tag team finishers.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, some bangers.
Hands down, my favorite is the Steiner's version of the Doomsday Device with the Bulldog from the top rope. I love that one.
Such a good one. Yeah, that'll have to be our next tier list. That's a good tier
That'd
list.
Be a fun one.
I agree.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Ryan, once again, thank you very much for joining us, my man. It's always great to have you here.
Hell yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Cruz Shakalaka. That is CruzShakalaka.
Dustin, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at Dustin Dubuque. That's where I sit, and that's what I do. What about you, Soda? You're everywhere.
When I'm not shaking my head at Dustin trolling Tony Khan or CM Punk, you can find me in my personal social medias at soda_the_saxman. And you can find me all over the place on this channel, and as well as the Let's Get Ready Network on Saturdays on the Dropkicks. So on behalf of myself and Dustin and everyone here at the Northern Entertainment Group, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what your favorite finishes are, and we will see you next week as we step in between the ropes into the squared slice.